Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Erik Ten Hag press conference reaction for Manchester United against Galatasaray. And Ten Hag has come out with a very defiant message to Manchester United fans and his players. Lots to discuss. He was asked a very direct question about Marcus Rashford and his form. And I think that's got to be the question of the press conference. We'll delve into that. He also spoke about Anthony. He was asked a very direct question about Anthony in relation to the message Manchester United are sending out to victims of domestic abuse by playing Anthony. Ten Hag answered that question. We'll talk about that. Rafael Varane offered a few. He's asked about the VAR debacle and what his thoughts were about that. And obviously, of course, the bad form of Manchester United at the moment. And I would probably shape this Erik Ten Hag press conference as one of defiance. He was asked a number of questions which we'll get into about performance, reaction to Saturday, why things are going so badly, why certain players aren't doing so well. And I think Ten Hag looked quite calm and composed. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, obviously I back Erik and I want him to do well, but my big fear about Man United at the moment is, and I've been thinking about it over the weekend and today, is that we've just become accustomed to what we are. I said it after the match reaction, this is who we are. Losing to Crystal Palace is not a surprise. If you look over the last decade at Old Trafford, we've probably lost to Crystal Palace before. We've lost to a lot of teams at Old Trafford. We've lost to West Brom at Old Trafford. Like, it's not a shock to get beat at Old Trafford by a so-called bottom half team. And I think we've just slipped into those slippers. I think we're stuck in that gear. And I've got to say, thinking about Jose, thinking about Solskjaer, 4 losses from 7 in their second season. I would say that, this is, there'd be a little bit more pressure on the team. There'd be a little bit more pressure on Ten Hag. And I don't mean pressure in the sense of sack Erik or get those players out, but I just think there's a general aura of Man United of, this is what we are. We lost at the weekend, but we'll try a little bit more tomorrow. And I'm like, that we just, even in the Solskjaer days, there was results like Leicester and Watford where you just went, that's just unacceptable. I know he got sacked after the Watford game, but you know what I mean? There doesn't seem to be an aura of this is unacceptable. We should not be here. It's almost become this is what we are. And I think that's the scariest thing about Man United at the moment is I wouldn't be surprised if Man United announced a new contract for Erik Ten Hag tomorrow. It wouldn't surprise me because we just seem to be, as a football club, apathetic to everything that's going on. I think that's a great word. As a football club, from the sale to the summer transfer window to the start to this season, the whole football club just seems to be treading water day to day. This is what we are. And that's really sad. It's really sad that there doesn't seem to be any accountability or any pressure on any individual. And I don't want Ten Hag to have pressure of being Erik out, but he's not got no pressure on him. You can see it in his face. There's no pressure tomorrow on that team. There's no pressure on any individual. The club is just being run into the ground. And look, it's our job as fans to... We've got, I've just done a video this morning with Ben Foster on the Football Fill-In, and I'm miserable. It's a miserable Monday. But I don't sense that. I don't sense that in the way United act anymore. I don't sense the frustration or, this is unacceptable. It just feels to me like, oh, yeah, give me a few questions. Yeah, this, that. We'll try this. We'll try that. And I just don't think there's any accountability. There's no accountability. I mean, who's having a pop at Ten Hag saying this is not acceptable? Nobody. Is Ten Hag feeding that down to the players? I don't know. Malp says it was another pointless presser. I thought there was some good stuff in there. I'm going to start off with the big topic, actually. Let's just get into it. There's a lot to get into. But he was asked a question about Marcus Rashford. I was watching the video this morning about dropping him. I don't know. I'm a fan of Rashford, as you know. I don't know whether dropping him's the right thing to do. I'm doing my preview at 7 o'clock tonight. I'll put a predicted lineup for that. But he was asked about Marcus Rashford and Marcus Rashford struggling. And I think, look, you're probably better off saying Rashford shouldn't be dropped because he won't be dropped. It's not. You can just tell Ten Hag is not going to drop Rashford. This is a sword he's going to fall on if he has to. He's going to be stubborn about it. He said, look, I know what the facts are. Marcus Rashford's not scoring goals. But if you go back to the Brighton game, which if I remind you about the Brighton game was 3 games ago, he had opportunities in that game. And the thing is that he's got to work hard and invest with the right focus and the goals will come. but it's also about the team supplying him with chances, and it will come. And I just thought, you know what? I don't actually get what you're getting at there, Eric. I really don't know what you're talking about. So basically, are you saying that Rashford needs to work hard and focus more? Or are you saying, which is an acceptance that he's playing badly, and therefore you've got a player in Garnacho that really should be given a chance? Are you putting it onto the team for not creating chances for him? But we don't create chances. Rasmus has not had any chances. Like, you're expecting a team to create chances. Well, who's meant to create chances for Marcus Rashford? He's a left winger. He's not playing up front. So he gets plenty of the ball. What are these chances we're creating for Rashford? Tap-ins on the back post. I mean, it's not really how a left winger works. So I don't really, you know, I'll call it out when it needs to be called out. I don't really get what that answer's all about. Rashford's struggling. I accept he's struggling. This is the manager's words. He needs to work harder, but the goals will come, and we need to create chances for him. I mean, one of the big problems with Manchester United's chance creation is we give the ball to people like Rashford, he shoots, or he takes somebody on. Like, I've said it so many times. Rashford would get better chances if when he got the ball, he gave it back to somebody and made a run. You know, if he got into the box more, he might score more goals. But he doesn't get into the box unless he tries to dribble into the box, because we're not a team that is, you know, and Rashford's part of the problem for that. Rashford's a winger. He's meant to be part of the transition. You get the left back gives the ball to the winger. Where's the overlap? Where's the centre attacking midfielder? Where's the attacker? Pass and move, pass and move. The big problem with United is, and Rashford's fundamental to this, he gets the ball. I don't think he knows what to do. I don't think he knows whether to take someone on, shoot, pass. There's a lack of composure and there's confusion reigns in Man United's attack. So I don't think Marcus Rashford can work any harder and focus any more. I think he needs coaching. I think his whole game needs to go to the next level. He needs to get his head up. He needs to be told what to do. And that falls on the coach. As I say, I don't think you can individualise this. I think this comes down to drop him or change the way he plays. Because if we just keep saying, oh, the goals will come, the goals will come. The goals came last season, but they're not coming this season. And we all know at 25, Rashford's a player that runs hot and cold. The goals will come for about 20 games, and then they'll disappear for 20 games. Well, you're never going to be consistent if that's what's going to happen. We need consistency. You need to work on Rashford's game, Eric. You need to advise and tell him what to do. And if he doesn't do it, you drop him. He needs some game management. That's what he needs. If I was coaching Rashford, and obviously I'm never going to because I'm not at that level, but if I had a winger that was playing for my team on the left wing and I had a player that runs hot and cold, I'd be obsessed with consistency. I'd be obsessed with conversation, and I would be telling him, when he gets the ball in this position, give the ball and move into the space and see if you get it back. And then I can moan at the player that doesn't give it you back. Mark, you've told countless times to us how you can see what Arteta is building, so have patience in Ten Hag building the same. No point in sacking him, says Tony. This is a great point. I always saw what Arteta was building from the outside in, and Arsenal fans printed T-shirts off saying Arteta out. I don't want Ten Hag to go, but pray tell me what he's building. I don't know what he's building. I don't know what Ten Hag is building. I don't know what we're building. Do you know what we're building? I don't know what we're building. Our success last year was built on a strong defence. That defence has been dismantled to play a more, progressive goalkeeper. So I think he wants to play possession-based football that's progressive, based on the fact that he wanted De Jong last summer, that he's brought Onana in this summer, he's brought Mason Mount in. I think he wants to play transitional possession football. But we've seen no evidence of it. Hopefully we will. We are stuck in a realm of change. The club obviously knows the sale is happening and they are in treading water zone, ready for change, says Anthony. I hope you're right, Anthony. That might be a really, really, really good piece of analysis from Anthony there. The club is treading water. It is. There's no accountability. Ten Hag doesn't look under pressure. The players don't. I think it's a great point, actually. Maybe there's a positive that the club is about to be sold, because it feels like the players are playing like they're going to be sold, the manager's managing like we're going to be sold, and the rest of the club is acting like we're going to be sold, because nobody's taking any accountability. When the club is sold, there'll be a whole raft of changes. Some players, some employees, maybe even the manager, might not be part of that. And I think it's very, very clear from the way that United are playing at the moment that everybody is just sort of, meh. There doesn't seem to be any urgency or plan or, future planning or anything. We will never win major honours until Glazers leave, says Stuart Coker. Well, let's get into some of the stuff that Ten Hag said. We've spoken about what he said about Rashford. He was asked about Anthony. So Anthony is back in contention tomorrow. He confirmed that Martinez will be out for a long period of time. He is having an operation. So, but Anthony does return. He's the only one to return tomorrow. He could well start the game tomorrow. He said that he has trained once this weekend, and there's another training session this afternoon. So he is back in contention. So Anthony does return. Calvin says start him. There was an interesting question that was put to him. I didn't catch the name of the journalist, but they basically said, by playing Anthony, what message does that send out to the victims of domestic abuse? Which was quite a strong question for the manager to be asked. He answered it in the right way. He said quite simply, he's not been charged and he's cooperated with the police fully. Therefore, he can play for Manchester United. Some people will like that answer. Some people won't like that answer. I've already said my piece on this. I agree with him coming back. I think that he has been spoken to by the police in Brazil and the UK. He's not been charged. He's not on bail. He's cooperating fully. The case goes on. If anything changes, then I'm sure United would suspend him if it went wrong. But I don't think it sends any message to the victims of domestic abuse when the victims of domestic abuse aren't identified at the moment in an active police investigation. So, difficult question for Ten Hag, but he answered it correctly. But Anthony does return, of course, which is another player back, which is a positive. He was asked about the reaction to the Crystal Palace game. And again, I thought the reaction to the Crystal Palace game from a manager that's lost 4 out of his last 7, and also, let's not forget, lost in the Champions League to Bayern Munich. So he's lost 5 games this season already. I felt the action was a little bit, scripted. There didn't seem to be a lot of acceptance or ownership, the fact that we've lost 4 of our first 7 games, and that's not acceptable. He said, we're disappointed, we analyse and find solutions. And I've heard him say that before. I've heard him say we analyse and find solutions after results before. And I think that, it's hard in these press conferences because obviously so many of the people asking the questions are part of the status quo. They're on the gravy train and it's all about, you get your hand up and you'll get asked a question, and if you ask something real you might not get one next week. So we even had one journalist ask Varane a question he just answered 2 minutes ago about can we win this tournament when he'd already answered it. So you get a lot of wastage in there, but there's certainly nothing difficult. There's nothing difficult being asked about Ten Hag at the moment, and it surprises me because are we not in a difficult situation? That's why the Rashford question that got thrown in at the end, I don't even know if they were meant to ask it, I think he just asked it, was probably the best question of the lot. And we're just not getting enough. There doesn't. Man United just seem to me at the moment to be, wandering through a shithole. Like we don't. They just don't seem to be acknowledging how bad this situation is. We are 10th in the Premier League. I think tonight we could go into the bottom half. But it's almost like, oh yeah, well, we go again. We'll have a look at what's going on and we'll try and change it. And I think if he works a little bit harder, he'll start scoring more goals. Oh, is that's the plan, is it? A little bit more hard work? I back Ten Hag. I want Man United to do well and I want the players to do well. But I also don't accept that it's just sweep it under the carpet, let's try again. We are in a crisis. Manchester United are in a crisis. We finished 3rd last year and we won a trophy. We're now mid-table and we've lost 4 out of 7 and we're playing crap. There does need to be a little bit of oomph in this, and there doesn't seem to be. So everyone just seems to be, well, it is what it is. Well, it's not what it is. Should we all just pack up and not bother it then? There needs to be a response tomorrow night. There needs to be some people dropped tomorrow night. I get the feeling tomorrow, most of the team that played on Saturday will play tomorrow. Maybe Maguire will come in for Lindelof, but I don't think that was the problem on Saturday. The problem on Saturday was the absolute lack of creativity, composure and plan in the final third. That's where the changes need to be. I don't think we'll see any major changes in the final third tomorrow. I think we'll see the same players again. Toxicity is about to be flushed out by Qatar. Erik ten Hag will then be able to build. I hope Qatar bring back Rangnick to rebuild, says Anthony. Well, I would love to see somebody like that brought in, definitely. He was asked about, this is quite a good question as well. Is it frustrating how the team are playing at the moment and their identity doesn't seem to have one? Ten Hag says, I don't agree with that. The team is moving forward. We've got no fullback at left back at the moment, which impacts the balance. But obviously, football is about results, and we're not getting them at the moment. So again, a bit of a fuzzy answer from Ten Hag. You know, he's asked a question. I think the question could have been better. He was asked about, is it frustrating that the team lacks an identity at the moment? And, you know, obviously Ten Hag has disagreed with that and said that the team is moving forward, but obviously we've got no left back at the moment. I would have asked him this, and I suppose you've got to be watching United and care about Manchester United to know what question to ask. And look, some of these people are journalists who don't support Man United. Are they watching it in the same finite, passionate detail as you? Obviously not. I would have said to him, you're not creating many chances and you're conceding goals. What's the solution to that, Eric? You know, we've not even scored 10 goals this season. Most of the teams above us have scored double the amount of goals we've scored. We're conceding a ridiculous amount when we won the Golden Glove last year. What's gone wrong with this team? Why aren't you scoring goals? I think something blunt like that would at least give us... I mean, that's the question I would ask Erik ten Hag. I would be... It's not just about the style of play. Why is it we can't create chances like Man City or Spurs or Brighton or Liverpool or Aston Villa? Why is it that for Manchester United, it's mission impossible to create a good chance in the box, and yet most teams in the Premier League can do that. West Ham can do that. Why can't we create chances in the box? All right, is our coaching a problem? Are our players a problem? Are you the problem? Like, it's a blunt question, and I back the manager because I've seen him do it for Ajax. But why can you not get Manchester United to do something that is fundamental to football for the last 100 years? Why is it we can't create chances in the box? Why is it we freeze in the final third? Because I know why we don't create chances in the box. We're slow in the final third, which allows everybody of the opposition to get into position. The way to create chances in the box is to stretch and move the ball quickly, confidently, and have a plan. We don't do those things. Why are we not able to do it? You can't just say it's about hard work or we're moving in the right direction. That's fuzzy. You know, that's deflection. That's not the truth. This has been going on for... Well, it happened with Ollie, and it certainly happened in the entirety of Ten Hag's time. The graveyard shift up front was there with Mourinho as well. Why is it Man United cannot and have not been able to create good chances in the penalty box for the last 5 years and counting? And why can't you solve it? I'd love to know the answer to that. Obviously, Ten Hag doesn't agree with it and has said that the team is moving forward. And maybe a light's going to... switch is going to go bang and we're suddenly going to start creating chances, but we're not. Crystal Palace scored a goal from a set piece in 90 minutes. We created hardly anything apart from the header for Mason Mount, which he should have scored. I do agree with him about the left back, though. This is something that we highlighted in the watch along. The lack of a left back, and we've got 3 injured. I mean, that's probably unprecedented. You know, Malacia and Shaw are injured. You bring another lad in on loan in Reguilon and he gets injured. In both Crystal Palace games that we haven't had Reguilon, it's been as clear as day that we haven't got a left-back overlapping on the left-hand side. Last season, we saw Ten Hag punishing players and himself for the lack of running. I know it's not about running always, but is Eric losing his identity, says Rohit. Look, if you're in a situation where it's crap, you can go in with good ideas, but if you go in and it stays crap, it will drag you down. I think Ten Hag should drop Rashford tomorrow and start Rasmus as he did against Bayern, says Noam. Erik Ten Hag has made the mistake of making Rashford his star player, says Arthur. He won't drop Bruno and Rashford, who only play well when counter-attacking. And love to know how this set-piece specialist is still in a job, says Hugh. Mate, our ability to get Adam to ask that in the next press conference as I am Kang. Well, hopefully somebody's listening in the journalistic world and will ask that question that I've just said, because I'd love to know the answer. But... yeah, I think with the set piece specialist, you can delve into many problems with Manchester United, but we haven't probably scored a corner hardly at all in the last 2 years. and we concede a lot of goals from corners and set pieces. So, yeah, there's a bit. When was the last time we scored a free kick? Look, we can analyse these problems, and they only ever really come to the fore when you're doing badly. But Manchester United at set pieces in general, whether it's corners, defending corners, scoring corners, free kicks, defensive free kicks, we're terrible. We're absolutely terrible. And teams get promoted off being good at set pieces and corners. Look at Luton. Teams survive by being good at corners and set pieces. Chelsea used to be quite good at them. West Ham are good at them. It's an easy win. It's an easy win. If you're good at set pieces and corners defensively and offensively, you're not going to win the league. But if you're bad at them, it's going to mess your season up. And we're bad at them. Like we're not even okay. We're in the bad section. Thanks for 7 months, says Kalshi. Thank you very much. So look, I agree with Ten Hag about the left back. I agree with the fact that we haven't got balance down the left hand side. Maybe go down the right-hand side a little bit more then, because we constantly go down the left, which means Rashford's even in more problems because he's lost an option of having an overlapping left-back. But we're not dropping points to Crystal Palace because we haven't got an overlapping left-back. We're dropping points against Crystal Palace because we have no identity in the final third and we don't create chances. And if you don't create chances, you can't score goals because you're not going to score a worldie like Bruno against Burnley every week. I mean, look, the scary thing for Manchester United is, and I was speaking to Ben Foster about it this morning, who basically said it's scary times for Manchester United. The scary thing for Manchester United at the moment is that, yeah, we've lost 4 from 7, and nobody can argue with any of those losses. We deserve to lose to Arsenal, we deserve to lose to Brighton, we deserve to lose to Spurs, and we did deserve to lose to Palace at the weekend. So we've lost 4 from 7 Premier League games. We deserve to lose to Wolves, which would have been 5, and Burnley, we wouldn't have won if Bruno hadn't scored an absolute worldie. So things could actually be worse from a situation that is bad. And that's what I mean when I'm talking about the general apathy from the club at the moment. And you can see it in the manager's press conference and you can see it in the players on the pitch. We are literally in a run of form that is disgusting. It's disgusting. But nobody seems to be taking ownership of it. Everyone just seems to be, well, we'll just work a bit harder. You know, we're heading in the right direction. We finished 3rd last year. You're mid-table. Like, where's the rocket up the arse? Where's the accountability? It just seems so sickeningly acceptable that United are what we're doing at the moment. There's just no leadership in that football club. There's no determination. Nobody just seems to want to take ownership. And obviously that runs down from the top. I'm not going to deny it. Hi, Mark. Do you still believe we're getting sold? If yes, when? I've got no idea. I think we will be sold, but I don't, or Said, I don't know when. Why don't we buy Ward-Prowse? Said it for years, says Nathan. I don't think Ward-Prowse is the standard of player that Manchester United should be going for, but he obviously is somebody that's good at set pieces, so he probably would make a difference, to be fair. Eric Rafael Varane was... asked a question about the team and competition in general, and could Manchester United win this tournament, and why are they struggling at the moment? And he said, look, this competition, the Champions League, is about the detail. He's won it before, obviously. He says it's about the detail. Efficiency is key. We need to score more goals and concede less goals. And as obvious as that is, we do have the quality, but we've got to improve. And Rafael Varane has made a great point there in a very simple way. The efficiency of the team is completely wrong. We don't score enough goals and we're conceding too many goals. And what he means is last season we weren't conceding many goals, but we weren't scoring enough goals. And the progression of Man United should have been to maintain the defensive discipline and score more goals. And what we've actually done is lose the defensive discipline and still not score goals. Do I believe that Man United have got the quality to win the Champions League? Right here, right now, I'd have to be a bloody idiot to say that. However, I did say before the season kicked off that I think I predicted we would win it. Now, that looks bloody stupid now, of course, but that was based on what we did last year, being a good cup team. I still think we are potentially a good cup team. The only saving grace of the Champions League is, and we've got to win tomorrow night against Galatasaray, is that the Champions League really doesn't become competitive until February, as long as you get out the group stage. Well, by February, you would hope that United have found a way out. So I think with where we are at the moment, we've got absolutely no chance. But there is always that hope that there will be some accountability, there will be some rhythm, there will be some identity, because we've definitely got the players that can play better. But is that going to happen or not? I don't know. Massive game tomorrow against Galatasaray. We have to win it. We've spoken about the Martinez injury. We've spoken about that. Erik ten Hag was asked about the bad form of certain players, and is it a concern, and how do you change the bad form of certain players? He said, look, careers are a journey. Your character as a player is important, as well as the character of the team. You've got to show how to get out of it. We need them to keep the positives but work on the negatives. I mean, look, maybe that's lost in translation. It's not really an answer, is it? Careers are a journey. You have ups and downs. I don't think Kevin De Bruyne has ups and downs in his career. It's a defined level of quality, game in, game out, apart from being injured. I think this is the problem with Manchester United. The dips in form have become acceptable. And I'm using the word acceptable a lot because I think it's unacceptable. But United seem to be giving the message off that it's acceptable to be what we are at the moment. And I think when you're talking about the bad form of players, I don't think they should be playing through it. We're Manchester United. At what point did we, like T says, failures become acceptable at Manchester United? I mean, he's been asked that question about Rashford. The goals will come. He's got to work harder. We've got to create more chances for him. I just think the mentality of Man United is wrong. And I think, well, it's not breaking news, is it? But it's become acceptable to be subpar. Life's football career's a journey with ups and downs. He's not scoring at the moment, but he nearly scored against Brighton 3 games ago, and he might score in 3 games' time. And sometimes he runs hot and cold, and it's just that is not the mentality of a Manchester City. It's not even the mentality of a Newcastle anymore. It's certainly not the mentality of a Liverpool or an Arsenal either. It's becoming not a mentality of Brighton and Villa and Spurs. We are where we are in the league because we are open to the fact that, drops in forms and peaks and troughs are acceptable. And it's not. It's not acceptable. You shouldn't be justifying bad form by saying, well, that's life. People go through bad form. They've got to work their way out of the hole. No, you leave them in the hole and say, someone else is having a go. Climb out and get back in my team. And that's what elite level football is. Sir Alex Ferguson didn't carry crap players who weren't playing well for weeks and weeks and weeks. He took them out of the team. I remember Sir Alex Ferguson doing it a few times with players where he would take them out of the team and send them on holiday and say, look, you're struggling. I'm taking you out the firing line to protect you and refocus you. And I think that's a great bit of management, and we probably see it from other managers as well. I think sometimes it's not about dropping a player, it's about protecting a player. You're in a bad place, you're getting a bit of stick from the crowd, you don't look like yourself. Let's take you out the firing line. Let's give you a bit of, TLC. Let's have a chat without pressure. I'm not actually dropping you. I want you to be part of my team, but for the next couple of games, let's take you out the team. Let's look at what's going on. Let's really analyse it. Let's get to the crux of the problem. And it doesn't seem like that seems to be even on the agenda at Man United anymore. It's like, no, players play bad games. It's part of their journey. They've got to get themselves out of it. And we as a team and character, and just unacceptable in my opinion, but has become the acceptable at Man United to be mediocre. Oh, as long as just work hard and you'll find your way out. It's not a winning mentality. Every Manchester United player should be living in fear of losing their place. I remember Paul Ince when we used to have him on the show, and he'd say he had Roy Keane and Nicky Butt coming through. I was backed myself to be in the team ahead of them, but they were coming through. And I knew that Sir Alex wanted to play them. And it was like, it was keeping me on my toes. The best scenario is to have the best players in the world who are on their toes, scared of losing their place. We haven't even got the best players in the league, and they're undroppable. It breeds this situation that we're actually in. He was asked about the game tomorrow, whether the result or performance is most important. He said, look, the result is important, but we want both. We want the performance as well. Well, I don't think that, if we get the performance tomorrow, I don't think we'd trust it anyway, would we? Robert McCormack says, Slow Sports News all booked for the show. Oh, I didn't even know the tickets were out for the Christmas show, Robert. So well done on that. I'll make sure to drop the link on the members section if you want to go. We've got our Christmas show in Manchester in early December. So tickets are out for the members, and I think they're out general later this week. So I'll sort that link out. Liverpool apparently have been fined. Okay, I don't know what that's all about, Lukey boy, but disgusting if they have. And yeah, look, I think that if we can get a performance tomorrow, it's a bonus. I just want to win. I mean, I'm previewing the game later. Galatasaray probably don't travel very well. A little bit like my dog. Keep the windows open. But we've got to win tomorrow. You know, I don't know whether you do this. I look at these games and say, yeah, we'll win 2-0. I don't know what United I think exists at the moment. I don't know why. I look at these games, go Galatasaray at home, 2-0. Crystal Palace at home, yeah, 2-0. Brentford at the weekend, yeah, 2-0. We don't keep clean sheets. And when was the last time we comfortably won a game of football? Even Forest was 3-2 and Wolves was 1-0. I don't know why I keep thinking these types of games, yeah, comfortable 2-0. Yeah, keep clean sheet, couple of goals. Might not be the best performance in the world, but yeah, comfortable home win, 2-0. When was the last time that actually happened? Why are we stuck in this false world of that United even exist? It doesn't even exist. That 2-0 United team doesn't exist. Keep a comfortable clean sheet, get a couple of goals, fourth gear win, happy days. I'd love that to happen tomorrow. It should be the norm. But realistically, who knows what the result will be tomorrow? I know we did it in the Carabao Cup, but the Carabao Cup wasn't even the real Crystal Palace, was it? We have to win tomorrow. Result, performance. Obviously, I'm just going to take the result. The performance, really, I'd love to see it. But even if we did get the performance, would we get it again against Brentford on Saturday? It's consistency then as well, isn't it? Consistency of performance. All I want to see from United, and I don't really understand why we can't do it. I saw West Ham score a good goal at the weekend, a good team goal. I don't know why we can't move the ball quickly from back to front and open teams up. And that's what I want to see. I want to see Manchester United just score goal. And we, you know what, I'm not going to lie. We did score a couple last year. I remember really drawing attention to them about, what a great team goal that was. And I forget the games. But they definitely did happen. And, I want to see those happening more and more. But, hold on, what's going on here? Yeah, it's something that we just seem unable to do as a team very often. And I don't really understand why, because we are a team that can do that, and we've certainly got the players to do it. But I just think we do bottle it quite a lot. I don't know why that's not working there. Okay, that's fine. That's good. Anyway, look, thanks everyone for watching. I am doing my look, I'm under pressure. I'm not scoring goals on my Man United career mode either, but that's not real life. But I am struggling with the same problems, which I'm hoping to solve today. If you're interested in my Man United career mode, I could get the sack today. At least there's accountability and demands on my Manchester United career mode. It doesn't seem to be in real life. 3:45 on the Mark Goldbridge channel. I'll be tweeting it out. Just give it a search. 3:45 today. Goldbridge ball returns, hopefully. Thanks everyone for watching. Look, I'm sorry for being a little bit, accountable. But I think if you watch that press conference from Ten Hag today, you'd think we haven't lost 4 games in the last 7. You'd think everything was fine. It's just very mediocre around the club at the moment. And hopefully, like was said in the chat, hopefully this is because we're about to be sold. But, is it a coincidence that the manager doesn't really seem to be under pressure? The players don't seem to be under pressure. Pressure can be a good thing, Pressure can be a good thing. Pressure can make you, can be the kick up the arse to perform. Nobody seems to be under any pressure at United at the moment. Just treading water. It's a shit start. We must do better. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash the like on the video and subscribe. Don't forget I'm previewing the Galatasaray game at 7 o'clock tonight because I'm doing a watch along of Chelsea Fulham on That's Football at 8. Take care everyone. Thanks for watching. And as always, get your comments in below. There was a lot discussed by Ten Hag there. Do you agree with it? Agree with bits of it? Let us know. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all in a bit.